Reparations: Why African Americans Should Get Them by Ursula Whetstone Knox. What are reparations? It's a noun. It could be referred to as repairing or keeping in repair, or giving satisfaction for a wrong or injury. So, this is a slave ship. On one side, you see a picture of a slave going across the Atlantic Ocean. On the other side, you see how slave bodies were actually decorated on a middle deck and a bottom deck of this ship. Each slot you see is a slave's body. They were piled on top of each other with no room to even think about what was happening. They were sick. They were using the restroom all over themselves as well as each other, as well as feeling seasick motions. Many of them died due to the unsanitary conditions. Why reparations for the antebellum or transatlantic slave trade? Well, the picture I just showed you was enough example of why. But also, the first ship arrived in 1619 and slavery ended in 1865. So that was about 246 years long of slavery for black people. There may have been indentured servants, but they got paid money, food, or land. Black people did not get paid anything. There was no real cause for enslavement other than monetary gain. The ideal behind the slavery was a Christian promise. The colonizers felt that the Africans needed to be saved. And that goes to show that that was actually a contradiction of the Bible. Not many people know, but there were actually black people already here before slavery even began. They were called Native American, okay? And they also brought people from the coast of Africa, okay? Now, the languages were changed and forbidden. Innocent people were slain and thousands of women were raped. Land was stolen, hijacked, and sold. Comparison of the benefits of slavery. Colonials, they received free lands. Slaves, they lost land. Colonials, they received free labor for their exploits. Slaves were treated unjustly, punished, and they had no pay for their hard work and labor. The colonials, they received economic wealth and well-being to build more wealth across the world. So America is a business, is a corporation. With slavery, they were able to flip their money and expand their business across to other lands. Okay, slaves, they were in extreme poverty. They couldn't afford anything. This was not their home. Everything had been drastically changed. They were labeled because of the color of their skin by every culture throughout the world. So throughout the world, black people are looked down upon. There were caste systems in India and slavery and enslavement also in the Philippines. Now, these were black people, okay, because black people are indigenous of every land. It's called the diaspora. Now, here's some companies, some very popular names that were actually in business during slavery that are still in business today. They were able to reap the money from free labor, flip it, and continue to produce their business. Okay, we see Tiffany and Co. A lot of women are upset because they don't get their Tiffany Co. bracelets from their boyfriends on Valentine's Day, birthday, anniversary. So the process of reparation. Congressman Sheila Jackson Lee of Houston, she proposed a study to study reparations for Black Americans. California was actually the first state to step up and start the study. Now, currently in Congress, there are trials for reparation. I honestly feel that we are being underrepresented. I feel like it's a fraudulent case. We're not being advocated for. They've gotten mainly celebrities that have talked against it because they're rich. They don't feel like they need it, but they're not the rest of us, and that's the problem. So here's some citations that you can feel free to copy down and go do more research. This is a very broad subject. I actually had to condense this a few times because there's so much information. I really want you to go look at some information with Brown University. The first citation that speaks on how Native Americans were the black people that were already here. A lot of people don't know that. So, in a nutshell, we've missed out, and a lot of things were stolen from black people. And this is the reason why we want reparations. Other cultures, such as Asians or Hispanics, and even Israel, they're receiving some type of reparation or some type of policy that is benefiting specifically their culture.